Hello, thank you and welcome to our Focus Board online workshop. It's our first workshop for 2024. Awesome to have you here. I am in Melbourne. My name is Julie Cliff and look forward to telling you a little bit more about me and my business Space and Time shortly, but great to have you. Let's use the chat as we go through today and introduce yourself. Where are you coming from? And also, what are you looking forward to learning? And if you're watching on YouTube, because we will put this recording on YouTube, if you're watching there, you can use the chat on there or the comments to say hello and let us know all about what you're doing. Hi, Chantel, welcome. She's just joining. Hi, Chantel, great to have you on our Focus Board online workshop. So here I am, Julie Cliff, declutter coach and professional organizer. I call myself a professional organizer when I'm doing hands-on help in people's homes, going out to a garage, well, 2 garages today. I'm taking my son Robbie with me and we're going to get dirty and do some cleaning up. So looking forward to that. And also call myself a declutter coach when we're running these online type workshops where I'm teaching you the skills and helping you learn so that you can go along and do them yourself. And so before I started my business in 2015, so the business will turn 9 in a few days actually. I was an executive assistant and administrator and helped people get and stay organized in the office. So it's just something I've always enjoyed doing. And then found a group of professional organizing, including the beautiful Chantel that's joined us today a long time ago, more than around 10 years ago, and still meet up monthly, and including next week we'll catch up. So found out that people do go into others' homes and help them declutter and get organized. So I could use the same skills that I used in the office to help people get and stay organized, and we could do that in people's homes. So that's what I do. That's my business, and that's what my team and I do here in Melbourne and around the Geelong area each and every day. So today in our Focus Board workshop, it's a little bit different. We'll talk a little bit about decluttering, but we really want to get focused on what we're going to work on this year. What are the important projects that you need to do? We're going to have some fun with cutting and pasting. I hope you've got your texters and maybe some paper, because we're going to come up and make some little discs here so that it's a little bit different to a vision board. This focus board is a little bit easier to put together and just not so much mucking around and finding those perfect views of your house that you want to buy in the mountains or whatever it might be. It's a little bit more practical than that. Let's get focused on those important things you want to do this year, and let's get going. So hopefully you've got your handout. Otherwise, I'll tell you what you do if you haven't got your handout with you. And as I said, we're going to make some pretty discs and follow through some steps to get us clear on what's important for us this year. And so with that in mind, because there's just so many things that we can do each and every day, we only have 168 hours in a week. I was almost going to say in a day, 168 hours in a week. So we need to decide how we're going to spend that time. So this will help us today. By the end of it, if a project or a thing or a shiny object comes up and it's not on your focus board, well, we can easily say no. We can't do that at the moment. We might get to it later, or we just might completely cross it off your list. So we really wanted to get focused. That's why it's called a focus board, on those important projects in your life. So, having less stuff and less complicated life just makes things much easier, much more focused, much more, you've got one sense of direction rather than having too many things going on in our lives. Today also we're going to have a look at where all our to-dos come from. Have you got a long to-do list? Do you not have a to-do list at all? Would really be interested to hear that as well. How do you keep yourself on track? And we're also going to have a look at our projects page, which is a group of headings. Just in case anyone hasn't got the handout, I might just read out what these sections are on our project page, which looks like this. Oh, I can't see myself. So I'll read them out so you can jot them down as well if you haven't got this page printed out. We're going to have a think in a couple of minutes. This is all about reflecting and getting focused on these things in our lives. So we're going to have a look at our health. What are some important things we want to do with our health this year? Finances, spirituality or community, personal development, romance or family, whatever, if they might be interchangeable, I'm not sure. Business and professional and fun. Mary Lou, have you got that handout? Oh, you got the handout link that you could share just in case somebody wants to have a quick look at that now and reference it as we're going along. Thank you. So that's what we're going to look at: health, finances, spirituality and community, personal development, romance, business, professional, and fun. So shortly, we're going to spend a little bit of time on that so that we can then incorporate the important things on here. It's probably not going to be everything. I want us to be really specific today about what's going to move the needle, what's going to make a big impact on your life, what's going to make you happier, what's going to make you more relaxed, what's going to make you more you by having a look at this page. So let's continue on, start having a think about that. So what is a focus board? Well, a focus board helps us organize and prioritize a big jumbled mess. Like on the left, all those colored discs, lots of different ideas, lots of pressures, lots of woulds, shoulds and coulds. And then we're going to go, well, these are the only ones I'm going to look at this year. And then that really helps you, as I said before, if it's not on your focus board by the end of the session today, then we're going to easily say, no, can't do that at the moment. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get that jumbled mess out of your mind and onto a pretty page. So this was my focus board from last year. We have updated it to say this year, but this is ridiculous. It's way too big. It's way too many things, and I can't possibly do all those things. So I've tweaked it a little bit over the holidays, and it's a little bit smaller. There's just less things, and I'm being a little bit more strategic. So I've got finance. I need, because we're about to change my contracting staff to employees. So there's a few financey type things that I need to do there. I want to continue to grow the business, and all the girls have got more hands-on decluttering work to do. I'm writing a book. So I'm writing the introduction at the moment. So that's all I'm focusing on for the book, the introduction. A couple of networking things, but again, we can't be at every networking event ever. So, being strategic and also these types of workshops and looking at different ways that we can share this information that we're sharing with you today. Again, it's probably still all too much. Oh, whose is this one? This is somebody else's that I picked up. So we're just going to end up with some coloured discs with some important jobs to do on that list. I'm not going to spend too much time on here because it's just a little bit more about how I've done mine. But it's just, a couple of different ideas, but they're important. They're really going to make a difference to your life. And if you get to the end of your year, not at the end of your life, if you get to the end of your year and gone, yeah, I've done a lot of those things that are on my focus board, I think you'll be giving yourself a big pat on your back because it's going to keep you really focused and not going away with the fairies and distracted by shiny objects. This is another beautiful one that my friend Nikki did. She did it on Canva. So you can do it in, I love the cut and paste. We're going to talk about cut and paste in a minute and why we've done it that way, but this looks really beautiful. So again, you can have lots of different versions of this focus board. So let's get started. As I said, we want to have a look. We're going to at these colorful discs. You can use a magazine, you can use a piece of colored paper, or you can just use whatever you've got. And the whole idea was that we don't want to be a perfectionist. We just want to get something on the page. We want to start doing these discs. I've just got a little plastic cup as well to draw around. We can just do a freehand circle, but we just want to get it done. You know, done is better than perfect. So we want to start to make some of these little colored discs that we're going to write our important things on. As I said, don't get too pedantic. We're going to practice being imperfect, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. When I first put this focus board together quite a few years ago, it might even be nearly 5 years ago now, my youngest son, Charlie, was helping me cut out the discs. And it was amazing to see him. He had these little clear cups, and he was trying to get it perfectly on top of the right thing that he wanted to cut out. And that was awesome and good on him. But again, it doesn't have to be that perfect. We just want, this is just some bits out of a magazine, just some pretty colors. And we can just write over the top of that. It's just something that's going to catch our attention. And I actually use these as a bit of a post-it note as well, and have them stuck around the house when ideas come into my home. So get started. If you've got some paper and pens, start making them now, while I continue chatting a little bit more about what the focus board is all about. So we have so much on our to-do list. As you know, it can go for pages and pages and pages, but we don't have to do everything that we've ever come up with just because we thought, I'd like to fly a rocket ship to the moon. You know, it doesn't mean we have to do that. We can go, oh, no, that sounds a bit hard, and we can just cross it off. That is actually one of my most favorite things to do when working with a client, particularly with their time management, our business being space and time, is going through their to-do list and really talking to them about the items they put on there. And they go, oh, well, such and such says I should do this in this particular way. And I go, do you want to do it like that? And they go, no. I said, well, let's just cross it off the list. So let's see if we can really whittle down your to-do list and come up with some important projects to do today. So just thinking about what would it be like if we could schedule time to do absolutely nothing. You know, if we scheduled, my words aren't coming out, scheduled some quiet times. And what if we just had a few things to focus on at a time? I think our brains would really appreciate that. Our brains are pretty quick at changing between tasks, but research shows that there is really no such thing as multitasking. We don't do more than one thing at a time. We just flick between them quickly. But I'd really want us to just have a few things at a time so that we have more quiet time, more time to do nothing, and more time to actually just work on the projects that are going to move us forwards. And again, as I've said a couple of times already, just having these few ideas on a piece of paper is really going to help us when shiny objects come up. So there might be new ideas you've just come up with, like I said, flying to the moon. You know, we always come up with them. They're easy, they're fun, they're exciting. But then it's the tricky part, or the bit that needs a little bit more work, is staying focused and just working on those projects to bring them into fruition. Again, if it's a shiny object and it's a silly idea, or somebody else told you to do it and you don't want to do it, let's cross it off. But if we're really clear on what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, what we want our home to look like, what we want our life to look like, we can be less distracted by these shiny objects. I'm awesome at coming up with ideas. Again, I use these discs to write down my ideas. I go, oh yeah, I'd like to write a blog on, you know, blah, blah, blah. Write it down, put it aside. Later in the day, I'll have another look and go, no, that's not worth spending my time on. So we can use these discs in lots of different ways. I hope you're getting a chance to start your discs now as we're talking about shiny objects and how we can stay more focused on important things. Am I making sense? Please make a comment in the chat below. What is resonating with you so far? I'm just going to have a look at the chat. A couple of people have put some things in. Roberta is in Melbourne. Awesome. Great to have you here. Would like to learn to spend my year with better focus on the things I want to achieve. Roberta, you are in the right place. Awesome. And of course, my awesome assistant, Mary Lou, is here. She says hi to everybody. And as I said, Mary Lou has also shared the focus board handout in the chat if you would like to grab that for yourself. So keep the comments coming. Let me know how you're going and if you need clarification on anything. As I said, this is the first session for the year. My words are coming up backwards, but that's no problem. I'm sure I'm making some sense. So did you get a chance to complete the projects page? Would love to know, just off the top of your head, we haven't got a lot of time today. We're only here for an hour, but I think I will give you 1 or 2 minutes now to complete it if you haven't. I hope you wrote down the ideas that I just said before about the health, finances, spirituality, personal development, romance, business, professional, and fun. What have you written on that list? Would anyone like to unmute themselves and share? Or even if you haven't had a chance to write on the page, off the top of your head, what would be good to achieve this year? And if you don't want to unmute yourself, pop it in the chat and let us know. I'm going to give you 1 minute, actually. Let's do 1 minute. I've got my timer here. 1 minute. And have a think about it, and then we can share. Here's 1 minute. Time starts now. And looking at those sort of headings: health, finances, spirituality and community, personal development, romance or family, business, professional and fun. "20 seconds to speed focus board today. I often run these in person as a 2-hour session, so that's a little bit more leisurely, but we've all got places to go today. All right, time is up. Does anyone want to share what they put in the different categories, and did one category outweigh one more than others? Roberta says in the fun area, she likes to read and complete the activities in the artist way. I love the artist way. Get up, do some writing every morning. Roberta, I think that sounds like an awesome idea. I haven't seen it any more than knowing a little bit more about that, but good on you. And I have been teaching myself to read. I read a big stack of books last year, just by 20 minutes, half an hour a night. It's been awesome. Chantel says, in the fun area, travel is a big chunk this year. Good on you. Fantastic to be able to put it in the diary. You know, if it's not in the diary, it doesn't exist. These things don't just happen, do they? We've got to plan for them. All right, let's move on. So, yeah, so if there's anything that you want to be able to tweak from that list, we can come back to it later, but put some more time in the diary to come up with and complete that page. So the idea is to go, all right, what's in health? What do I want to do? And I have done all this with some help with ChatGPT as well to come up with some more, just a few dot points in each of these to be able to do. And it needs to be nice and easy. Otherwise, if there's too many things and it's too complicated, again, flying to the moon is too hard. So let's break it down and make it a little bit easier. Would love to hear and see your completed board, or even this completed page. So send it to me after the session today. We'd love to see it. Now, when we've done the focus board, we can really decide where we want to put it. So I would normally say put it somewhere where you see it all the time. Maybe it's in your wardrobe, hang it in the bathroom, in the kitchen, somewhere where you can look at your focus board. Mine sits behind my computer desk, so I see it every day, my little discs here. And then that you're reminded to be working on it every day. Again, this isn't really a manifesting type thing, although it isn't in a way. But we're not just going to sit here and go, I want a Ferrari, I want a Ferrari, I want a Ferrari. We need to do the work. If you want a Ferrari, well, you might need to increase the growth of your business, or you may need to improve your share portfolio. You know, how are you going to get a Ferrari? These projects that we're putting on, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But again, having it hanging up in a space where you can see it all the time is a great thing to do. I did also have one of the people that did the workshop in the past. She said to me that she didn't want to hang it anywhere publicly because there's some things she wanted to work on with her family members. So she was going to put it, I think, on the inside of her wardrobe, she decided. So at least she could still see it a lot, but it wasn't on public display. So have a think where you would put your focus board once it's completed. So as we were talking before, of course, we've just quickly glanced over some of these key ideas, but hopefully you're busily using your scissors and your texters and things, writing as we're going along and starting to take shape and starting to see what your vision board, what your life wants to look like by the end of this year. And what we want to do as well is, as I said, it's not just something we put on our wall and, you know, by the end of the year it will happen. We need to put things in place daily for this to be able to happen. So I have done this in the past, but I haven't done it so much recently, is write down your list of projects every day in a notebook. I think I've got mine here. One second. Have I got that one still? Yeah. No, might have put it aside, but I wrote in a notebook, like at the time I wanted to be a great keynote speaker. So I would write that down as though it had already happened, would be, I am an accomplished keynote speaker, and write it again as it's already happened. So you're writing these things down every day. If you put time in your diary in the morning, just to write your, say, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, however many projects that are really important to you, write them down every day to make it clear to the universe of your intentions. Again, this is a little bit woo-woo and a bit manifesting, but it's just making time for this important stuff. So it might be, as I said, I'm a very good keynote speaker. Look at me go. I spend 20 minutes a day with each of my sons, personally, one-on-one. So we're saying them out loud to the universe as though they have already happened. So this is a great way to get you focused, and something else that we can practice doing each day to bring these things into life. And as I said, the dot point there says, do not take on any tasks that are outside of these projects. We're saying about those new shiny objects. If something else comes up, like it might be a new project at work or an opportunity to go overseas or something like that, well, of course, don't be silly and say, oh, no, I can't do it. It's not on my project board. Focus board, you might swap something. You might put this project on and take another project off. But again, this is just helping us stay focused on these particular projects. So also you can use reminders in your phone and action them when they go off. So again, if it's something, if you wanted to become a better professional speaker, like me, you could have regular workshops that you run, like I do fortnightly, where you just do it. You just practice. You're in your own home, you're recording it, you're interacting with people, and you are getting better and better and better at it. So you can put plans in place to get better at some of these projects that you have on your list. So that reminder might come up and say, oh yeah, that focus board workshop is on this afternoon. Just seeing what other reminders did I have. Might have already turned them all off. I had to pay Mary Lou this morning. I did that at my awesome assistant. I had to message a client, and I had to remember to take the vacuum cleaner to the client. So let's see that. So that's just some little, like, little reminders. Come here. That that came up this morning that I have actioned. They've all gone now, but I've always got. I don't have a lot of notifications coming up because I turn notifications off because I don't want too many things distracting me. But important things like those ones I just mentioned, and any other important things from your project list and your focus board. Use your phone, use your technology, use your online calendar, use little post-it notes around the place to remind you, use your little discs, and that will help you make time for the projects. And literally schedule time in the day to be able to work on this. I said I'm writing a book. So from 7:30 to 8 o'clock every morning, week morning, at this week I've just started, 30 minutes to write the book. So ChatGPT and I are having great fun. We're making up all sorts of funny stories, but that's in the diary. The notification goes off on my phone. I sit down at the computer and we write. We're doing the introduction at the moment. Again, if it's in the diary, not in the diary, it doesn't exist. And I used to say that when I was working at Melbourne Storm Rugby League Club as an executive assistant, the CEO and the executive director, I would say to them, this is back in the day, 2001 to 2005, I was looking after these two gentlemen, and we was using a paper diary then, and I would say to them, if it's not in the diary, it doesn't exist. If they haven't rung from their appointment to say that they're going to another appointment, or can you put this time in the diary, Jules? Well, as far as I was concerned, it didn't exist. So the same as you working on your projects, get that important time done. We need to be able to make time for this to work, because again, just hanging it on the wall is not going to make it happen. And that bottom point as well, another way to stay focused on these important things is to know yourself and choose the time of the day that works for you to work on the projects. I'm a morning person. I'm up at 5:35 every day. I do my walk. I go to the bakery. I come back and do stretching. I have my breakfast, and then I do my writing. But that might not work for you. You might be more like a 10 o'clock at night person. Please don't work on your projects at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't think that's good for anybody. But know yourself too and your energy levels, and know when you're going to be the focused and the most sharp and have the most energy to get these things done. So it's flexible to work for you. And as I said, let's make time. Mary Lou, I think you've got the link there for that weekly planner. Follow the link, everybody. Thank you. Pop it in the chat. Print it off and literally put the time in your diary. I know I sound like a broken record, but we only have 168 hours in a week. Here, 168 hours, yes. Here they are here. Plot in the time for your decluttering. Plot the time in for your fitness. Plot your time in for your relationships, your personal development. Get it in the diary. Get it in that weekly planner. Otherwise, it won't happen. So also, want you to be able to create the surroundings around you to support what you're trying to do. So if in your health section, you want to say you want to eat more whole foods, well, you might want to have a good think about your shopping list and your meal planning. So literally sit down at the same time each week and write out a meal plan. I'm going to eat this. This is my snack. This is my afternoon tea. This is my lunch. This is my dinner. And write your shopping list based on that. So we want to set up the whole home and your whole life to be able to support these special projects that you've got on your focus board. So if it's, again, eating whole foods, you might go through your diary. Go through your pantry. Let's declutter your pantry and get rid of the junk. Donate it to somebody. Somebody will eat it. It doesn't need to go in the rubbish bin. But we can set up the good supports and systems in our homes to be able to get onto these projects. If you need to do some particular things in your business, well, get your home office set up, get your actual office. Like if you have an office away from home, get that set up. Get rid of things from the past. Let go of stuff that's holding you back. Piles of paperwork, things that haven't been done. Get somebody in to give you a hand to do that decluttering so that you have a clear slate and you can focus on your business and your professional life. Again, let's surround yourself with things that are going to move you forward and help you with this newfound clarity, and ask yourself, what stuff is going to support you in your newly organized life. So continue around that projects page to see those important projects, and then with the things that you put on your focus board, again, writing a book. If you want to write a book too, maybe you need to put some time in a diary. Or maybe you need to join a book writing group. We have Chantel and I have a mutual friend, Holly Cardamone. He's amazing for supporting people that want to write books. So find a coach, find somebody, find just an accountability buddy, get your friends on board. What other support do you need around you to get these things done? Because, as I said, we're not just going to be able to, just have this stuff materialize. In that handout as well, there is a commitment chart, and it is a really good thing to do to be able to continue on this journey. So what are you going to do in the next 15 minutes after this session to continue on finishing off your board and then making that board a reality? What things are you going to put in the diary in the next 15 minutes? What things are you going to put in your calendar for the next 12 months? What decluttering are you going to do? What new systems may you need to set up? What is going to support you on your journey? And then also ask, what are you going to do in the next hour, in the next 24 hours, the next 7 days, next 14 days, and the next 30 days? And what are you going to do in the next year? What do they say about the years are long, but the decades are short, something like that. We always overestimate what we're going to get done in a long time, but underestimate what we can actually get done in a day. But again, it needs to be the important things. We don't want to just be going off with those shiny objects and writing something that's a waste of time, or cleaning the bathroom for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, when, good enough is probably good enough. Let's come up with some of your own rules and boundaries as to what you are going to commit to and what is going to support you going forwards. Let me just sneak back a few pages, because I did skip some because I was a bit worried we're going to run out of time. We spoke about that. We had a look. I would like to come back to this page, the project page, and see what else people had on their board. Is there anything they want to ask about? Is there anything, Roberta, did you have any questions, or Chantel, Mary Lou, about how do you decide what those important projects are? Have you got any problems or questions around that? No, looks good. We're all good, ready to rock and roll.
Not enough time in a day, probably.
Yes. Yeah, and you have really hit the nail on the head. And I think we feel that at the start of the year too, and we're looking at this sort of thing and we're thinking, oh, these things we want to do, but we can't do it all. Well, we can probably do it all, but not all at once. Chantel, what have you done in the past to be able to help you sort of stay focused on the important things and not be so overwhelmed?
Planning, basically. But pretty much what you just, told us in the whole workshop. Planning and not losing focus, which is sometimes just hard to do. And the last couple of years for me, it sort of went out the window for different reasons.
Yeah.
Some was simply in, me taking on too many client projects, and then, things not going to plan and delaying other things, and finally, sort of put a stop to it to just wrap up things that need to free up time. So I can feel now, finally, now I'm feeling more organized again and more, calm, not so scattered all over the shop and overwhelmed. And we have just, because travel is going to be a big thing this year for me, and this was not really planned until a few weeks ago, sort of when the idea came up. And it turns out, like, okay, I'll need to have, basically after August, I'll be on the road and I will not work for the end, the second half of the year pretty much, which is like, oh,
Yeah.
So I do need to be focused, to set priorities and to stick to it. And I've just put in my calendar, as you suggested, I am working on a personal project that's really important to me in my personal life, not work. I've just booked every morning an hour to work on that, because otherwise it's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
So,
exciting, but yeah, as you say, there's a lot to do between now and then. But if you keep your list handy to know what you are, and not be distracted by other things, I'm sure you'll get it all done.
Yeah, so this really helps to, what you said, to remind me it needs to be in that diary, otherwise it's not going to happen. It's so
yeah, and stuff does happen. I mean, life happens all the time, whatever. Our son, had to have shoulder surgery last year, so things happened. He couldn't do what he normally does, and it was all fine. But life happens, and people get sick, and we have to go and visit this person, or someone has a baby, or whatever it might be. So we don't want to miss out on all that exciting stuff as well. But if we've got a little clarity around what we're trying to achieve, we can massage that a little bit and get along with it better than if we didn't have any plan at all. We would just be running around like a headless chook, I think. Thanks for sharing. And Roberta, thank you for sharing. She said, it helped me realize that I put too much expectations on myself and overscheduled. Amen. That is such an easy thing to do. And glad you've come to that sort of realization today. Again, 168 hours in a week. Yeah. All right, let's thank you again, everybody, for sharing. So I just wanted to click back on these few that we showing the objects, to-do list. Yeah. And I think just doing a general sort of brain dump is a good way to get stuff out of your head as well. We're talking about having too much on our to-do lists, and just be able to get it all out of the head, and then be able to run it by your focus board, or which is going to move the needle the most, which is going to make me the most money, which is going to be the biggest relief. Which of those projects is going to bring me fun and joy. And hopefully, as I said, we can just cross a few of them off, and get cross some of those things off, and not even waste any time on those projects as well. All right, let me get back to the summary. We might end up a little bit early, but that won't hurt anyone, I don't think. We can continue to work on our focus boards and get them finished today. Put it in the diary. Yep, create that. Good. Here we are. So, of course, be mindful of where all your to-dos come from. We've just been talking about that. All the different hats that we wear as mums, as caretakers, as business people, people in the community, all of these different hats that we wear, and the different roles, and all the to-dos that come with that. I'll share a story that a professional organizer probably shouldn't say, but my son went to school with hardly any of his books yesterday. He took a notebook and about 3 pens and one science book. He's in year 9. He's a boy. He couldn't care less if he had the right books or not. And over the years, I've decided that I'm not too fussed about it either. He comes home with a maths book at the end of the year that's hardly even been used. So why do I need to fuss about it? He will end up with all the right things. After the weekend, we'll go to Officeworks this weekend and get him sorted out. But this week, they'll be just going along to classes, sorting themselves out, having some fun, getting to know their classmates again. But I was just thinking about all those to-dos and the hats that we wear, that pressure that we put on ourselves, that this should be right and this should be perfect and it should all have labels on it and it should all say Charlie Cliff on it. It's like, he doesn't care. I know some kids do care, and you would need to be a little bit more organised, like I have been in the past, but my boys have never been fussed with anything like that. I think girls may be more interested in all their stationery and having the right colour matching things and pencil cases. But all those woulds and shoulds and coulds and pressures from society as well, they can really weigh us down. So just be a little bit mindful and careful. What's going to work for you and your family on your to-do list, and those things that you're feeling the pressure that you should be doing? Be mindful of them as well. We also discussed staying focused and making time in the diary to work on your projects every day. So those little discs that we've finished, they're looking beautiful on the wall. Make some time to work on them every day. And write down your projects as though they've already happened. As I said, I am a professional speaker. I am an amazing mum. I do sit down and spend 20 minutes reading with them every day. Whatever your sort of aspirations are, sit down and write them every day. That I got that idea from an author, and she'd call it the 20-20-10, I think is what she called it. And it was all about, just spending 10 minutes a day looking at those 10 important projects, and to be able to have big outcomes. So just make an effort to be able to write it down again to keep it top of mind. So if you want some help to be able to continue along and stay focused on some of these things that we're talking about today, I would love for you to do a one-on-one group. It's not a one-on-one group, it's a one-on-one program, 6-week coaching program with me. It's 1 hour on Zoom each week. And there's a 15-minute save me call if you're just running around and you're a bit lost and you need some help. We can have a chat in between those sessions as well. There's a workbook and a 30-day checklist, private Facebook group. And so all of that is for $1,529 for those 6 1-hour sessions. So if you need some help, come along. Mary Lou has put a link there to the program. Get and stay focused. So would love for you to let me know if you're having trouble actually getting this stuff done after we talk today. Let's have a chat about doing some one-on-one work together. The total value is $1,529, but for you it's $897. Sorry, I forgot to press the button one more time. So for that 6 weeks, 1 hour session. So would love for you to come and spend some more one-on-one time with me. Today I was just talking to a client yesterday about her to-do list and managing everything she has with her 3 kids. And we're doing 1 hour sessions with her each week, and she's getting a lot of value from that. So we'd love to have you do that as well. We will let you know soon. Hopefully you're on our email list and on our socials what our next upcoming workshop is. I'm not sure what we're going to do next. Mary Lou and I will decide that. But if you do want some help in between as well, on our YouTube channel, there's a bundle of our previous workshops if you want to dive in there. So what have we got here? Can't read. And also just from being a part of today, if you would like to have a chat, 15-minute chat, give drop me an email, julie@spaceandtime.com.au, and we can chat about what you've got on or that Stay Focused program, and just see if it's the right thing for you. Would love to help you out there. Let's just stop my sharing and see if there's any other final questions before we wrap up and before we get into our day. Did I miss anything? Roberta, any other questions? And A9KF0, some secret person that's joining us today. Thank you, Mary Lou. That's my email address. She's popped on there. So there's a few different handouts and things that Mary Lou's put in the chat. Well, if there's nothing further, I wish you good luck staying focused and being kind to yourself and not running around like a headless chook. It's never a good look. And getting some great things done this year. Let me know if you need any help after the session today, but take care and look forward to seeing you at the next workshop. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.